Hello, good evening, and welcome to Thingamajig's Racing channel. And guess what, baby? It's back. It's felt like an absolute lifetime since we saw the end of the GRSC, sorry. I closed my iPad by accident. I'm trying to open it and talk at the same time just to see if it's working on YouTube. There you go. It is working, and I'm there. So, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again. We return to the Ultimate Racing League's jewel in their crown, the pinnacle of their attributes. It is the GRSC. There's so many initials, I have to read it just to make sure I'm saying the right thing. The Group Racing Sunday Championship. Ultimate Racing League have 6 leagues running simultaneously, with the top 3 split using the Group 3 cars and the bottom 3 leagues all running the Group 4 cars. Each league chooses the car that they're going to use, and it's a single make championship. And they do a mix of sprint races and endurance races. This, ladies and gentlemen, round 1 at Deep Forest is going to be a sprint race. 2 races consisting of 20 minutes. The first race is just all-out warfare all the way to the flag on a set of soft tyres. The second race, ladies and gentlemen, they have to do a minimum of 2 laps on a set of hard compound tyres, or either compound. They've got to use softs and hards in that, and one of those sets they've got to use for a minimum of 2 laps. We say the hards, but sometimes the tyre wear can mean that you need to use the hards a little bit longer. Last season we had an absolute blast with League 5, and we know for certain that Double A Ron will be making an appearance in this league. But other than that, all new faces, ladies and gentlemen, and I am buzzing. No championship to speak of so far, no table, as this is round 1. It's a clean slate, and every single person on the track has a chance. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you will join me, we'll take a walk down the grid after their qualifying to see... introduce ourselves to the new riders and see who's popped up from the old league. I'll keep you informed. Don't you worry. I'll tell you if they are a promoted driver, if I remember them from last season, and we'll know where we are. So, ladies and gentlemen, the URL GRSC Round 1 Deep Forest grid I present to you here at Deep Forest Raceway goes like this. On pole position, then, ladies and gentlemen, it's the STUBS. It's Stubbs, ladies and gentlemen. Not messing around. Stu BS. He got promotion then, ladies and gentlemen. We saw him in League 5, and yes, he's driving. Oh, they use the car they've chosen as well. It's the high and dry, isn't it? It's a Genesis G70 or something like that, Group 4 car. I think it's a high and dry, but I'm not a car buff, so I'm not sure. It's probably reflagged one of them. It's like where I found out Lexus was a Toyota, but it's just because some countries are racist and don't want to buy foreign cars. They rebadge them. So maybe the Genesis is like the rebadged Hyundai. Anyway, I'm getting confused, not confused, sidetracked. So that's Stubbsy, ladies and gentlemen. And we remember him from last season, and he is FAST, so watch this space. And second on the grid, ladies and gentlemen, is the Double A Ron, champion of last season's League 5, promoted and already at the top of the pile. No messing around for these 2 fellas. Fantastic stuff. They've hit the ground absolutely running. This season is going to be absolutely banging. Third, we have on the grid, ladies and gentlemen, Souness, also from League 5 last season. Souness coming in with the big noise, coming up to 3rd place in qualifying. The promoted boys are doing an absolute banging job. In 4th place then, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mini also from League 5, promoted last season, and Mini, it's looking fantastic. His GRSC is looking superb, and he'll be starting fourth. That's great qualifying from Mini. It is an absolute banger. Maybe he likes the car, likes the track, and hopes for a podium for this one. So that's Mini introduced to you guys, also promoted. Right then, in 5th place, Matti Alder. Wasn't he also very at the end of it? And that's the Skechers car. I think it's for Rossi. They've got teams. I looked at the list and I just thought, we'll just wing it. There's never any rhyme or reason to the teams anyway. So yeah, Matti Alder. Alder. I think he was there at the end. He's forgot to put his numbers on, but nonetheless, it's all good. They've got a number on that side, not that side. How bizarre. Look at me picking holes in liveries. It's a lovely livery. It is. It's nice. So that's Matti Alder then in 5th place. Also, I think was in League 5. Mika. Mika in the Gulf liveried GRSC. And looking absolutely splendid, it must be said. Fantastic stuff. Mika also was a contender in League 5 last season. So that is your top 6, ladies and gentlemen, have all been League 5 drivers. Unbelievable stuff here. In 7th, we have Method, also from League 5 in the Rossi livery. Fantastic stuff, by the way, by the livery makers, I have got to say. There is some beautiful cars out there at the moment. So that's Method in 7th. In 8th, in the Vodafone GRSC, it is Eric of Canada, also promoted last season from League 5. What is this? Is this League 5.2? It's the revenge of League 5, ladies and gentlemen. We're all back. We're all promoted, and we're all heading towards League 3. So that's Eric of Canada in 8th place. 9th place on the grid, Brian Moncani, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, that's a powerhouse of teams. He's also in the Haribo car, like pole sitter Stu BS, ladies and gentlemen. So that's a powerhouse for the Haribo team, and they're going to run away with it with the Monk. The Monk in the running. 9th on the grid, though, but we did see, tailing off from last season, his qualifying just wasn't on par with where he ends in the race. So keep your eyes on this space, ladies and gentlemen. More of the same, it seems, that we had from last season, with the Monk lighting up the pack. Then in 10th, promoted from League 5, it's GS Myth, ladies and gentlemen. It's the myth, it's the legend. Get smurfed. GS Smith then donning the grid, looking absolutely splendid in a monster livery there, and he is in 10th spot. And those eyes are going to haunt me throughout the night. And then in 11th, ladies and gentlemen, it's the PANDA. It's a Panda. And he's here if you need a cuddle. That's what the Panda is for. He hands the hugs out. So it's a sexually harassment Panda. Anyway, doesn't matter. So Panda then looking splendid in the Texaco colours, but qualifying at the back of the pack. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a beautiful shot right there. And we shall move on then to the beginning of this race. This is what you are all here for. For League 4, ladies and gentlemen. This time it's League 5 means business. It's like a sequel. So let Stubbsy lead them around. Remember, this is lights to flag, soft tyres all the way, and it's all about just nailing every single lap. The lights are out, and we are go here for a brand new series, ladies and gentlemen. It is exciting stuff as the Stubbs leads them through in the Genocide, and Double Aaron hunting him down. The Souness then in third place. Mini's gone a little wide there, I saw just out of the corner of my eye, and Matty Alder is coming in to savagely take that position away. He's getting closer, and the Genesis looks very slidey through the corners and looks quite a handful as Mini again sliding the Red Bull Genocide around the track. And again Matty having a look around the outside, but nothing's doing there as Mika holds his ground in sixth place ahead of Method. Eric of Canada in eighth place with the Monk in ninth. Not quite in the fight yet. Eric on Method's case there, and Brian's got issues from GS Smith all up and about his business, and Panda there clinging on to the back of the pack, but it's the Stu BS that is heading the way. But it is Double Aaron close enough for a tow there as he has a little sniff. He has a sniff at the air, but it's just too far back to make an impact, and this corner is really the maker of men and the maker of crying little babies in the corner, because it is a killer, and Stu BS does pick up a heavy penalty from that first corner, that we talked about. He did look wide coming out of it, and now the Double Aaron is lining him up, ladies and gents, for an overtake. The Souness trying to stay with them leaders, the bad boys up ahead, but they're pulling out a little gap, and Double Aaron, he's not even going to wait for the penalty to be deployed. He's under the wing of Stu BS, and there's nothing that the Stubbs can do at the moment. He's just clinging on to the ride as Double Aaron is giving him all sorts of grief, but Double Aaron kicks up a bit of his own dust, and now the Genesis is sliding and slippering around as the Stubbs is out of control, barely, and Double Aaron clings onto the back of that Genocide as Souness tries to close in the bickering Genesis ahead of him, but Stubbs so far still clinging on to the lead somehow, some way, whilst his car has been careering out of control through the corners. It is a beautiful sight seeing these grown men wrestle these cars under control. So now this is where the penalty will be paid, and poor old Stu BS is going to be dropping down the field like a brick. Like a cat and 4 stones in a pillowcase thrown into the middle of the lake. Look at him go. Unbelievable stuff. Poor cat. So Double Aaron then leads the way with the Souness in second place, Mini in third, and Stu BS then lands himself in fourth place after that hefty penalty. He must feel like a right Piastri. Hey, Matty Alder all up and about his business, and Matty Alder is not messing about in this race, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you. He is absolutely nailing these laps, and he is looking for scalps as he makes his way through this championship. They've all got promotion so far out of League 5. Who out of this motley crew, ladies and gentlemen, can drag their buttskis into League 3? This is the question that is asked throughout this season. Who has what it takes to enter League 3? So far, the Stu BS trying to put a bit of pressure on Mini, and Mini now in third thanks to that penalty that the Stu BS had to pay, and Double Aaron back in control where he likes to be. Souness though is giving him something to think about just there in his periphery. Mini then under pressure from the Stu BS as Matty tries to get himself involved in their little squabble. Mika at the moment safe in sixth from the Method holding seventh, and no one actually giving him some hassle, so that's beautiful for Method. Brian up into eighth place. The Monk hasn't started yet, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, we've got 20 minutes of racing, and the Monk likes to leave it until the last 5 minutes before he starts nailing his moves. GS Smith in ninth. He's made up a position there from the Canada of Eric. And Eric then having a look up the inside for an overtake on the brakes into a very tight and heavy corner. And Eric nails the braking. Can he nail the apex? Does he make it through? He does. Can he stay in the game? And he does. Lovely overtake there from Eric of Canada on the GS Smith. Beautiful stuff. Great display of racing, even though it's further down the pack. And the Panda is still continuing on to try and gain ground on the guys ahead of him. Double Aaron has been caught by the Souness. Souness getting the fastest lap in there on lap 3, and now is starting to put the pressure cooker up to 11. And then we got the Stu BS has got past the Mini, and Matty Alder is in that battle as well. Let's get on board with the Alder as he makes his way through. Lovely apex action from Matty there as he closes in on the Red Bull Genocide and tries not to let the Stu BS get too far ahead. Mika at the moment, no hassle from behind. He's okay. We have gappage. We have gapage, ladies and gentlemen. It's brilliant. Through these beautiful tight corners, Deep Forest does not get the acclaim that it really does deserve. I think it's an absolutely magnificent track, ladies and gentlemen. I know it so well, I'm not sure if they're doing it backwards or forwards. I think it's forwards. No, it might be backwards, actually. We might be doing it in reverse, which seems the wrong way round. No, I know this corner, and it is this way. Yeah, they're doing it the right way round. I think recently I've done it backwards for some reason. But Matty having a little sniff up the inside of Mini there. Mini really has. He's come on. He's come on in since League 5 to League 4. Either that dude has been doing some practicing, or he's just absolutely banging this day. Matty chasing him down, and the Mika is in, because Mika and Mini were close last season, and both of them are there at the top sharp end, battling it out with the older Method there in 7th, and the Monk is closing in 34.8 from the Monk last time around. Method a 35.6, nearly a second giving away to the Monk, and you cannot give the Monk a second, ladies and gentlemen, because he will destroy you. Eric of Canada then, after that fantastic move ahead of the Smith, he cannot shift him though. He cannot get rid of the Smurf, and Eric of Canada cannot make no mistakes during this race at the moment, with the GS Smith right up and about his business. Panda slipping even further back and picking himself up a penalty, and that is never what you need when you're trying to get yourself influenced into a race. But the Panda continues on and tries to eke out some pressure out of this car, and my word, he is driving it on the raggedy edge, ladies and gentlemen. You have to give him that. The Souness is taking the lead. Sorry, I am so sorry. It's going to be one of them. Oh my god, I am so sorry. This was ridiculously long ago. Oh my god, it's like a lap or two ago. Here we go. Oh my, I'm sorry. Souness, I did say he was catching up, and it must have been just before I cut away, ladies and gents. I've done the whole field. We've got about a minute into this race further than we've had to go back. But the Souness is again under the tow. We see the GS Smith and Eric of Canada move, and this is going to be, no, he's a lot further. No, he's already done it down the straight. Oh, did Double Aaron have a penalty? I reckon Double Aaron had a small penalty, ladies and gents. Stop, so it wasn't worth going back for. We didn't see anything anyway, did we? Mini then being bothered by Matty. We were watching this battle with Mika closing in. Method's not too far away, with the Monk chasing in with the Method. Oh, there's Panda making, oh, that's a hit for Panda there. That's where he got his penalty from. So Souness then now in the lead of this race, ladies and gentlemen, in control. I must say, he's not skibbity-dippity. Souness was one of them, I believe, suffered with a little bit of lag last season, and disconnections as well, because of the internet being frail and weak. But it seems now Souness has found a new source of his bandwidth, and he is absolutely slamming Genesis on the table and saying, this is how big mine is, where's yours? And Double Aaron is still looking. The Stu BS up, but it's cost. At what cost did it take him to get to third? He's got a half a second penalty on his way. Mini still leading this little troop here, with Matty Alder picking up a penalty, and Mika is coming through. Mika under brakes, doesn't want to wait for the penalty, and Mika pulls off an absolute delicious move there. Oh, the German driver absolutely driving with precision, under braking, took the inside line, and poor old Matty there, another half a second penalty. penalty. It's painful for the Matty as Method comes through, and he's bringing the Monk to the party as well. So Matty then slips back in, but the Monk having a look up the inside with momentum on his side, and it's the Monk who's up and in to the 7th. Moncani absolutely slapping Genesis today, ladies and gentlemen, and Matty there slipping down with that 1 second penalty, and he may argue that half a second of that was cost from Mika's overtake, but there was just no contact. It was I think a good overtake. I think Matty probably did drive wide to avoid Mika, but I think Mika had given him the space. I'm not sure. I'm not a steward, and I don't look back at the things. Now Souness under pressure, ladies and gentlemen. The lead is still not over here yet. We're not even halfway in this race, and we have been treated for some absolutely fantastic racing so far, and the double Aaron is not giving up on the lead here. Souness getting that easy overtake done. We are guessing the Ron was under pressure from the penalty system there, and now the Stubbs still, is that the same one? And Mini's closing in. Mini's not giving up on that podium, ladies and gents. Come on, give it up for the MINI. He is not one to settle back for latter positions now. This season is his season, ladies and gentlemen. It's League 3 or bust in the MINI camp. Mika as well, old teammates, and yes, there's that Stubbs paying his penalty, and the Mini is through. Beautiful stuff there from the Red Bull Genesis, up ahead of the Harry Bow, the pole sitter. Stu BS down in 4th, being absolutely harassed and harung by the penalty system. Double Aaron slipping back from Souness. Souness actually slinging Genesis, and he's got the fastest lap so far in this race. Tyre wear seems pretty equal between the two of them. It's a straight fight, ladies and gentlemen, between two very speedy pro sim racers. Mini under pressure from Stu BS. Stu BS bringing all of the noise in his Team 5 Haribo Genesis, and he's trying to look for some big points in this championship today. Mika there in 5th place. Mika trying to get himself involved in this podium battle. Could pick up a podium here, the way the penalties are being dished out. Method also in 6th place, not that far behind, and he is bringing Alder and the Monk with him. This is crazy stuff. GS Smith is he's back ahead of Eric of Canada. So Eric of Canada's absolute big move into that hairpin, meaning nothing with the myth, the legend, back ahead in 9th place, picking up points for the Monster team. And Eric of Canada again is having a whiff. Now let's sit on board, see if he can get back into that toe. Souness still leads from the Geary, and MINI is in 3rd place, still holding off the Stu BS. We will cut to it, and it looks like he's getting a toe, but he's just, I don't think he's going to be close enough to make the attack on this lap. Oh, he's swinging out wide to get a good turn as the myth goes defensive, and it's going to hamper his exit speed. So down this hill we should see Eric get very close. No, it seems that Eric Canada just cannot cotton onto the back of the myth as the myth tries to break the toe there, ladies and gents. And it looks like the myth is gonna last another lap from the onslaught of Eric. Double Aaron back ahead. OMG, I am so bad at this. So there's the Souness, and we've seen Double Aaron carrying a lot of motivation here to get back ahead of Souness at the moment, and there he comes with the toe. This is what the myth was trying to avoid against Eric of Canada, and Double Aaron down out in the inside, and ladies and gentlemen, that is the stuff that makes your trousers move. Really it is. And look, Souness coming back in great fashion up the inside, side by side, going through the twisty bits, and it's the Double Aaron's got the bigger one there. Souness braking a little earlier, and Double Aaron now taking the lead, and I have to adjust my waist, my trousers. MINI still holding on to that third as the Stu BS is leading on the pressure. He's turned it right up to max, ladies and gentlemen. The pressure cooker is bubbling over, and MINI is just holding on and dealing with it. He says, yeah, all day long, whatever you've got. Now we're in the danger zone. This is the toe, ladies and gentlemen. This is where the Stu BS can deploy the power of the genocide and get himself by MINI. But MINI is not playing games, ladies and gentlemen. He's holding the race in line. He's making Stu go the shorter distance, the harder distance, and MINI getting the better drive. Then later on the brakes for Stu BS. Stu BS is onto the apex, but is it down to the drive out of it? Now Mini's got to get right onto the back of Stu BS and get the toe like we saw Double Aaron do to Souness. But is he close enough? He's coming down the hill. He's very nice and tidy at the moment, but Stu BS looks like he's pulled the move off, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. Mini coming in hard, coming in fast. Can he pull this one off, ladies and gentlemen? He's having a sniff and a whiff up the inside. Can he be brave on the brakes, ladies and gentlemen? Stu BS later on the brakes and holds the position as Mini gave it his all. Ladies and gents, let's be upstanding for the MINI. He absolutely dealt, and he's still pushing on so far and wanting that podium position back. Double Aaron leads from the Souness as we see Stu BS take back the third place that the penalty system so cruelly stole away from him like a Piastri earlier, and MINI then just fighting his business with the Stu. And Mika there, loving the squabble ahead, getting it closer. Now we've got this, it's stalemate between these three. They've closed in with each other, but none of them can get the move. Teammates, Method and Matty Alder holding station in 6th and 7th. Matty Alder now getting a lovely toe. He looks like he got a better drive out of that corner. And let's see how the Rossi teams handles teammate fighting. Is it going to be clean? Is it going to bang doors? And Matty at the moment having a lovely sniff, and the person who's gaining most out of this is the Monk behind with the slipstream. And there we go, Matty later on the brakes onto the apex. Can he get a clean drive out? And that is beautiful. And there we see just in the distance there Brian closing in on the Method losing out here, and he's got to need his teammate to give him a slipstream here to get away from the Monk, because the Monk is coming in hard, fast and beautiful as Brian Moncani then lining up the Method for an overtake up the inside. He's having a look, he's having a whiff, and it's going to be about late break business. Method still getting the toe off his teammate, and I think it's the toe that's helped him so far. And Brian trying to have a whiff up the inside, and Method there, even though losing a position, I think he managed to keep his position from the Monk there, just from Matty giving him a slipstream, because that looked like it was over for Method. And it's not over yet, as Brian's still sending it hard behind in 8th place. Mika looks like he's being gained on by the guys behind. A 34.9 for Matty, Method 35.5, and Brian a 35.1. Mika's last one 36.0. He's got to start absolutely hauling Genesis if he's not careful. Mini still in the battle with the Stu BS. Souness and Double Aaron not that far ahead of the podium battle. One small mistake or a hefty penalty, and these guys are going to be absolutely slapped with a big one. It's very close, ladies and gents. It's beautiful. Souness then in 2nd. Stubbs in that 3rd, but it's not an easy 3rd. He's under pressure from Mini. Mika under pressure now from the Sketcher boys. Matty Alder and Method bringing the noise all the way to the rear derriere of the German driver and Brian the Monk. Not making an impact yet. We've got 4 minutes left of this race, and the Monk should be up to podium positions by now. It's not happening this time around. Eric of Canada back ahead of GS Smith with the Panda. Another penalty, another lap, another day. And the Panda struggling with track limits at the moment. Double Aaron leading the way, and Souness just cannot live with him now in these final throws of race 1, round 1. And Double Aaron out absolutely slinging genocide around the scenes of here at Deep Forest, and Souness just trying to stay with him. This is going to be a big battle this season. Stu BS seems to have the power of the pace of the two ahead of him, but he just can't stay within the white lines, it seems, ladies and gents. He loves a white line, does our Stu BS. That's what I've heard. No, I don't know. I don't know him from Adam, and I don't know if he loves white lines or not. MINI in fourth place, hunting him down, with Mika there in fifth. Mika under a lot of pressure here, coming into the end of this race, with Matty Alder up his rear derriere, with Method up their rear derriere, and Brian Moncani set to make a move. This is the one. Brian Moncani having a sniff and a whiff of the Method, and can he make the move into the late braking then for... it's just not close enough for the Monk, and now he's going to have to hope for a great drive out of this one, right onto the tail end, the rear derriere of the Method, and Brian Monk just about to make the move. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by as the Moncani makes his shuffle. He's going to do the Monk shuffle anytime now, right in the slipstream. Now he's having a look as they cross the line, and this surely, no, it's not going to be the final lap. There's still a couple of laps to go, and down on the brakes, the Method trying to squeeze him onto the apex. It's not worked for him, and now it's a drag race off of the last corner, but Method had a better drive through with that wider line, and now Method still ahead, but it feels like it's just a matter of time until the Monk comes strong up against the Method. Matty Alder still behind the Mika, cannot make the move done on Mika. Mika solid in fifth at the moment, with Matty all up and about his business, and Method there getting the slip that's probably helping him against the Monk Arnie. Eric of Canada in ninth place, and he's dropped the Myth now, ladies and gentlemen. GS Myth starting to drop back as Panda without a penalty, ladies and gents. Look at him. Double Aaron then leads the pack, ladies and gents. We are coming up to the 19th minute of this 20-minute fight, and the Mini, MINI, has come up against him. Stubbs has picked up another penalty, and my word, Mini's just got to be a bit of patience. Little bit of patience, and look at the battlage behind here. Mika, Matty, Brian's got the business done there. And now he's going for Matty. Look, Brian, he's left it late, but he likes to come through at the end of a race, and my word, is he. Method there in eighth place as they come up towards the line. Mika under immense pressure there from Matty. Matty's pulled alongside. Brian's trying to insert himself. It's going to be three wide. Come on, cameraman. Three wide into the braking zone. It is three wide into the braking zone. Mika loses out the most. Brian's on the apex. Brian jumps the lot of them, but Mika's coming back strong. Mika's coming back strong. Unbelievable stuff, but it's the Monk. Ladies and gents, you could have put your money on it, but Brian, but Mika around the outside, it's going to be tough, and you know he's had to back out of that one and let the Monk have the position. Ladies and gents, that could have been a nasty accident, but wowzers on top of wowzers there for the racing in the middle here. Brian Moncani now up to fifth, with Mika in sixth. We've got Matty Elder in seventh with a penalty, and Method in eighth. Eric of Canada in ninth with a penalty. That brings the Myth back into the business, and Panda in 11th without a penalty. Double A Ron Lee, Souness is there. What's going on here with Stubbs? Stubbs half a second penalty. Mini's got a 1 second penalty. How far behind is Brian Moncani? Too far. Oh, Stubbs. How lucky is that? The Mini absolutely was slinging Genesis more and had a bigger penalty. So the Stu BS looks like that penalty position is safe, as the double Aaron then, for the first time this season, brings it around down the hill here at Deep Forest to join the winner's circle for the first time this season. He had many wins last season, and he's going off to great guns. Double Aaron didn't have pole, but he got the win. Souness in second. Oh, they've gone through again. How long is this race? I thought they were 20, maybe they're 25 minutes now. Stubbs then in third. I honestly thought they were 20-minute races. Maybe they're 25-minute races. Mini then in fourth. It's not over, ladies and gents. We've still got plenty of racing to do. Wowzers. Method then in seventh. So Matty Alder's lost a position to his teammate there, as the Myth in ninth, Eric of Canada in 10th, Panda in 11th, and Double Aaron then still has another 5 minutes of racing, it seems, and I should really read the rules instead of guess. Stu BS then, he's away from the Mini, And that 1 second penalty really hurt the Mini there, and it really hurt the Mini to the fact that Brian the Monk... No, where is Mini? There, Mini, I tell you, the Monk's not far. Mika still holding off from the Rossi boys, but the Rossi team is closing in, and they're closing in strong. Method ahead of his teammate, Matti Alder. Matti Alder, oh, with a half a second penalty. It has been the main news around here at Deep Forest. The penalty system has really stitched up a few of our drivers here, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Moncani then up to 5th, trying to chase down Mini, who was in that podium battle with the Stu BS. But in the end, Stu BS won out and has now gapped himself away from the Mini. Double Aaron has had to battle for this win off of Souness. But he's got himself a nice piece of space between himself and Souness now. He'd have to make a silly mistake for Souness to get back into the racing situation for the lead. Then we've got the Stu BS pulling away from Mini trying to cling on to the back of him because he's got a very fast Monk. And here we go, the racing here with Mika. Oh, Method, did Method make a bit of contact with Mika there? No, I don't know. It might have been the other Skechers. I think the blue, I don't know. Maybe no one. I think Mika just went out a bit wide there. So, yeah, Matti Alder up ahead again. Is he? He's not. No, it's Method, sorry. I thought, hang on, the Method was in the black and yellow one. Oh, skids and screeches there from Moncani, really pushing on to try and get that Mini ahead of him. And then we've got Method now in 6th, Mika in 7th, Matti Alder with a penalty in 8th place. The myth, the legend back ahead of Eric of Canada. So GS Myth is absolutely flying in the monster Genesis, but Eric of Canada has given him a race all of the way. And Panda there with another penalty. He loves them. Can't get enough of them. He's doing the lap times. He can do the lap times with the guys ahead. 30. Well, they're doing 35s. Panda 37, but I believe in him. Double A Rom at the moment leads the way. Souness in 2nd. Stu BS. Mini now. Oh, Mini's picked up a penalty with the Monk in the hunt, and that's going to bring Moncani a lot closer to the Mini now. And Mini could be in danger of that 4th place, where points are going to be everything this season. He's got a nice gap though, and half a second really is a blink of an eye. I think it'll just bring Moncani a little bit closer, but it won't be an overtake. Method, then Mika with a penalty. That's going to put Matti in a strong position coming into the final lap. Oh, it's laps, it's not timed. You think I would have noticed in the top corner, wouldn't you, that it's done on laps? I remember now. It's because I'm not taking part this season. I'll just forget. 16 laps, ladies and gents. Around about 25 minutes. So Souness then, totally forgot where I was, ladies and gents, I apologise. Stu BS then in 3rd, Mini in 4th, but he's got that penalty and the Monk is hunting him down, but I believe the Monk has run out of time now. That half a second penalty is not going to do squat for him. Method in 6th with Mika in 7th, Mika with a penalty as well, and that's going to bring the Alder back into play, but not an overtake, just close enough. So let's see, Mini paying his penalty here, and where's that going to put the Monk? Should put him closer to his tail. He's going to have the momentum coming up the straight. So there goes Mini paying his penalty, and here comes the Monk. Mini at the moment safe. It is the final lap, and here we see Double Aaron then coming down the hill to take his first win again this season. We celebrated it 5 minutes ago, why not? And Double Aaron then taking the first win with the second announcement this season. Great drive from Double Aaron ahead of Souness. The Stu BS absolutely planted it there. Pole sitter got it back to 3rd after his early penalty. Mini seat keeps that 4th. Monk in 5th. Method in 6th. And it's tied between Mika and Matti. Very close there between the two of them. Eric and the Myth absolutely slinging Genesis, and the Myth's got through. Oh, Eric of Canada looked like he went wide in the very final corner, and it's the GS Myth, ladies and gentlemen, gets smurfed, that grabs himself 9th place in the race. Great drive from the pair of these, absolutely going at it hammer and tong all the way. Eric of Canada in 10th, and the Panda then Brings it on home quite a bit away, but I think he got dogged, ladies and gentlemen, with the penalty system. And, you know, we could make all the excuses up. Lack of practice, I don't know. Using a controller when you've got a steering wheel sat in your living room. Things like that, ladies and gents. So that's the Panda home in 11th. So double Aaron, ladies and gents, lights up the timesheets. He absolutely slung it today, and it wasn't just an easy given. He had to go up against the Stu BS and the Souness. So double Aaron had to drive for his win. Absolutely splendid stuff from the Genesis driver. Souness gave it his all, ladies and gentlemen, and his all just you know, just a little short of the double Aaron. He's got to find. He had the fastest lap though, didn't he? But Matty Elder looks like he got that in the end in the 34s. Superb. Stu BS then in third. He had a battle. He was there leading the way from pole and then got that 1 second penalty. Absolutely big hit to him. Ended up down in the mid pack and had to battle his way back through again to a third place. So one to watch for future races, ladies and gentlemen. And as long as he can stay within track limits, he's a danger. Mini, absolutely splendid drive today. Put on the pressure when needed to put on the pressure. Dealt with the pressure when he needed to deal with the pressure. And it was a fantastic drive for 4th place. And I've got to say, that's got to be most improved driver from last season. He's got to be given to Mini on the basis of that drive. Ladies and gentlemen, Mini has. He's bloomed. And Brian Moncani then, great drive there, 5th from, what was it, 9th? And he came through at a crucial time. Did that, like, overtook 2-3 cars all in one corner. Beautiful stuff from the Monk, as per usual method. He grinded today, ladies and gentlemen. He was grinding. He was just head down, cracking on. And he was in the middle of that battle with everyone battling around him. And he just gained from it in the end. Mika and Matty going head to head, and the Method just swooping in there and gaining 2 positions. So Method in 6th place, Mika in 7th. Unfortunately, he had that whole train behind him with all that pressure for so long, but I think it was a penalty in the end that got him. But Mika there in 7th place, and that's going to hurt him, seeing Mini finishing in 4th. Him and Mini were absolutely neck and neck last season. So Mika was probably a little bit ahead of Mini. They were teammates, so they were easy to judge each other by. So Mika there in 7th place. Matty, the older, in 8th place. Should have been higher, ladies and gents. Fastest man on track. And his position isn't really fair to say of how he raced, should we say. A great presentation from the Alder, unfortunately, about the maybe put some numbers. GS Myth and the Canada of Eric, absolutely giving us a thrill spill and something else to keep on watching, because the Myth and Eric of Canada went hammer and tong in that race, and I was here for it and I loved it. Just for 9th and 10th, just every position counts, but still cracking race from the pair of them. And Panda there is I think he was learning his way around Deep Forest. Right then, that was race 1, ladies and gentlemen. Then they do, I don't know anymore. I honestly am not going to guess what we're going to see, what the grid looks like, and we'll guess from there. We'll be Inspector Clouseau. We'll do a little bit of Inspector Gadget, Go Gadget brain, and we'll work out what they did with the grid, because it used to be all sorts of different things, top 5, this, or I'm not even. It hurts my head when I try to explain what the it was simple. It's just trying to explain it isn't. Right then, so we'll pause that because I'm just not that fast. We'll get the display up and then we'll try and work it out. Looks to me, ladies and gentlemen, like it is a straight reverse grid. So we know where we are. Oh, and they're using mediums, hards, mediums, hards. Maybe no softs in. Maybe it's mediums and hards. Oh, yeah, possibly. I said at the beginning it was softs and hards. Again, I should have probably read the rules. Yeah, it's mediums and hards, and one compound's got to be used for at least 2 laps. In endurance, they've got to be used for at least 3 laps. But so we've got the Panda starting on the hard tyre, ladies and gents. Eric of Canada is starting in second. He's on the medium tyre. We've got the Myth starting on hard tyres in third. The Alder starting on medium tyres in fourth. And Matty will be fancying his chances, I assume, being the fastest man of the last race. 2 of the guys ahead of him are on hard tyres. So Matty, I'm sure, will be hoping to be leading this race after the first lap. Mika there is starting on the hard tyre ahead of Method, who's starting on the medium tyre. Brian Moncani starting on the medium tyre ahead of Mini, who's starting on the hard tyre. Stu BS is starting 9th on the hard tyre, with Souness starting in 10th on the hard tyre, and Double Aaron going for a punt. He's going for mediums. He's gonna try and do a jump, get through the pack. Usually, you go on hard tyres, further the pack you are, so then you just have to do the 2 laps, take the pit stop, and then come out and have a nice empty track in front of you just to absolutely slap some big lap times down and wait for the medium runners to make their pit stop, which should be on lap 13. It's a 15-lap race, not a timed race. I'm just having a sip of my coffee. I just can't stop talking. I downed it. It's gone. We've got no distractions from now on. So, ladies and gentlemen, 15 more minutes of your time. 15 more minutes. 15 more laps of your time. I'm getting really confused with the time and lap ratio, aren't I? 15 more laps of your time, ladies and gentlemen, here for a second race. And it was an absolute banger of the first race. Now they've taken their grip away. Let's see how they deal with it. Wow, that was a bit of a weird rolling start, wasn't it? Got all jammed up there for GS Smith. Don't know if he wasn't on his accelerator or something, but there, all jabbed up there. Mika then. And now Method managing to try and come through. He's on those medium tyres. He knocks on the door. He knocks on GS Smith's door. Say, can I come through? And the Myth says, no, I'm afraid not, sir. Not you. So Panda still leading from Eric of Canada, who's now got Matty Elder. Matty Elder coming through, and Mika, oh, there was a Vodafone off the road, but Eric of Canada's back on again, and he's alongside Mika. Mika going up and around and in and out the outside, and Mika's through. Mika is through. Panda still leading, but he's there again with the penalties. Panda loves a penalty. With Mika there, Eric of Canada, and GS Smith in fourth. We've got Matty Elder slipping right down into fifth. He was the one fighting there for that second place. Then we've got a whole crew of cars here with the Monk, the Method, Stubbs, Mini, Double Aaron trying to make his way through. Remember, he's on the medium tyres. He wants to get through the gang as quickly as possible, and he's not being able to do it. There's cars all up and in his way. There's a change of lead. Mika now. Oh, Panda's scraping all the way down the wall. Is he just trying to get out of the way or what? But it looked like he's pulled right over and scraped down the road. Shall we look? He had the penalty, 1.5 seconds for the Panda. And yeah, he's just trying to get over to the wall, it looks like, and get out of the way as he pays his penalty. And yeah, they all flood through. So Mika then leads with Eric of Canada, and the Myth behind. Myth and Canada going back at it again, ladies and gents. Matty in fourth place, Brian Moncani in fifth, the Stubbs is in sixth place, and Method in seventh. There we got Mini and the Double Aaron going, sorry, Souness and the Double Aaron going side by side, and Aaron on those Double Aaron, is on those medium tyres, so he's got a slight advantage to Souness, who's on the hard tyres. Whoa, big wiggle there, big wiggle from someone. Oh, where are we? Have they got going again? Method, maybe? So Method was in amongst it in seventh place. Brakes a little later, has a look up the inside of Stu BS, sends Stu BS a little wide. Oh, it looks like he lifted to let the Stu BS through. and does the right thing and puts Panda back into the action here. Panda right on the case of the Method, and Stu BS continues on his way, somewhat a couple of positions down from where he was. MINI there in 8th place, under attack from the Souness, who's already made his way through. Brian Moncani slipped down as well, as Double Aaron now gets on with the business of getting on, and the next man on his list is GS Smith. GS Smith also on the hard tyres, and this will be where the tyres will start coming into effect. The medium tyres will be up to temperature now, as Double Aaron makes it look easy coming through that tight corner up alongside the myth, the legend, Matty Alder ahead of him on the medium tyres. Eric of Canada also on the medium tyres, and Mika has done an absolutely fabulous job of getting away from the crew, and he's running on those hard tyres way ahead of the Canadian. Matty Alder having a look one way, and Matty Alder going wide, but no, he's kept it in the realms of gameplay, so no penalty, sir, for you. Double Aaron on those medium tyres, absolutely slinging Genesis at this point. GS Smith, and there we go, Mika doing his 2 laps and in. He's dipping, ladies and gentlemen, he's going on to the medium tyres, and he better hope and pray those medium tyres will last for the whole 13 laps he's going to ask for them to do. Eric of Canada then leads this race now ahead of the Alder. Alder, look, weighing him up one way or another, but he's got Double Aaron and the Myth, the legend behind. The Myth doing an amazing job staying with Double Aaron at the moment. Then we've got the Monk there in 5th. The Monk trying to decide what side of the Myth he wishes to overtake. He is here, there, and he is every blooming where, ladies and gentlemen. In the chat we have Mantis saying, evening mate. Well, hello my friend. He's also saying, it's Vane. Hi Vane. Yeah, I know you guys have done your race. It's on my list. I am so far behind, I promise. I mean, I'm slinging commentaries this weekend. Again, a festival of comms. Matty Elder does take the lead ahead of Eric of Canada, and Double Aaron then in 3rd place, and the Myth down ahead of Moncani. Moncani getting absolutely fighty. Matty Elder then, can he keep hold of this lead? He has got to absolutely dip. That was a beautiful shot with that. Canada then is in 2nd, but being overtaken by the Ron. Double Aaron then up the inside, later on the brakes. Can he make it stick? And yes, ladies and gentlemen, he can. Does he go wide? Possibly. Possibly picks up a penalty there. We'll have to double. Yes, he does. He does, a half a second there. And that was the cost of overtaking Eric of Canada. Brian of Moncani then now makes the move on the Myth, the legend, and the Souness brings his hard-tired runner into the pits. And Eric of Canada then holds on to that 3rd, as Brian Moncani still hasn't completed the move against the Myth. And now he does. GS Smith then down and into 5th place, but he's still on the hard tyres. He still hasn't made the pit stop, and we're moving into lap 4 of 15. Method there in 6th place on the medium tyres in 6th. Mika in 7th. Now, has Method made an... Oh, no, he hasn't made a pit stop. Mika has, though, has he not? No. Also, possibly he has. Yes. Mika, I think, started on the hards, and he's done a pit stop. Mini maybe has done a pit stop. The Stu BS has done a pit stop. Yeah, here are all the pit stoppers, ladies and gentlemen. There's Souness. So Panda then also making his pit stop. He's in 11th. Souness come out just behind the Stu BS, and these are a straight fight all the way to the end now. Mini ahead of the Stu BS again, which will be delightful for him. Mika there, I think he's also done it, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll keep an eye. Method then in 6th with the Myth there under pressure. GS Smith still on his hard tyres. Does not want to take them off yet. And Method then under braking around the outsides. Ooh, it's going to be tight coming out, and the Myth absolutely making his Genesis absolutely impossible to overtake, and Method there being left frustrated on the exit of the corner. Brian Moncani coming up to this lovely battle here between the Double Aaron, Matty Alder, who's picked himself up a penalty in the midst of it all, and Eric of Canada, all heading down to the first corner. Who's going to break the latest? I believe it was the Double Aaron, so he's at least 3 inches as thick, ladies and gents. Matty Alder there in second place, and Eric of Canada in third, with the Brian of Moncani coming in strong on the move. We're against Canada, but does he make it? Did he make it? No, not yet. Unbelievable stuff. And Eric of Canada, oh, Matty's had an absolute banger with the barrier, and Double Aaron just leaves the scene as Eric of Canada tries to hold back the power of the Monk, but you cannot hold back this power. It's just full of testosterone. Method then in fifth place against the GS Smith, gets smurfed, and Mika in seventh, we think may have made a pit stop. Stu BS with a half a second penalty. He's got himself ahead of the Mini, and Souness is soon to try and do the same thing. And at the moment, Mini couldn't have been out in the worst company, really. Two of the absolute throwers in this league, absolutely swift ones. So Stu BS there in eighth. He's got a penalty to pay though, as Mini tries to close in. That battle up at the front. Double Aaron still leads from Matty Alder. Matty Alder has paid the penalty and stayed ahead of Eric of Canada, but Eric of Canada looking intently on the move, and this could be it coming down here as the Monk comes and gets involved as well, because Brian just loves to be involved in all of it. Look at him go. And Matty at the moment holding on to the second ahead of Eric of Canada. Eric of Canada giving it as good as he gets, and Brian Moncani cannot complete the overtake against the Canadian. And Method there closing in. The American wants a piece of this beautiful racing action as Double Aaron tries to dip and get away from this action. He's got to watch those that have pitted before him, the Stu BS, the Souness of the crowd. Eric of Canada holding his own, ladies and gentlemen. It makes you proud to see where these drivers have come from last season. They have learnt so much from racing with these guys. The Monk then really is laying it on thick for the Canadian. The Canadian is having to deal with so much pressure, and now Brian gets the power of the toe as they come through the tunnels, and he's going to be looking to make a late break into that hairpin and get the move done on Eric of Canada. And there's nothing Eric of Canada can do. He's done the move himself. We saw it, GS Smith last race, and there, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do it. But the Canadian coming back at the Monk, but he just doesn't have it. And Brian Moncani absolutely slings Genesis and gets the move done. And that, children, is how that is done. Eric of Canada then trying to get a toe down the hill. This is where they get a second chance, the second coming, ladies and gents, and they're pulling away to get the slipstream broken. And now here we go. Brian went quite defensive on the inside, and Eric tried to sling it around the outside, but Brian survives. And I think Matty Alder's toe helping Brian Moncani out there a little bit against the Eric of Canada. This racing is so close, so tight. It is absolutely delicious, as Method now having a nibble at the Eric of Canada. The great battle, the tariff battle, continues between Canada and America here. Then we got the Smith down here in sixth. He's being unbothered by anyone. He's still on the hard tyres. Lap 7 of 15. He's going for a real fresh set of mediums at the end. We think Mika made a pit stop on the end of second lap. So he's going to be leading this little batch here, with Mini now back ahead of the Stu BS. And Souness is there, the silent assassin, sitting behind him, waiting to get a move done on his comrades. Comrade. Stu BS then lining up MINI there with the toe, and it looks like we've seen it move. We've seen the move done not 100 times. We've seen it done a few times here at this track, and it's pretty straightforward for them. Mini staying over to the left to make life difficult for the Stu BS. Stu BS later onto the brakes, tries to go around the outside, trying to do a switcheroony on Mini, but Mini absolutely landed it in that corner, and GS Smith is into the pits now. to get those hard tyres changed to mediums. And how many positions is he going to lose here? I would imagine all of them, because he's been on the hard tyre for so long. And Stu BS, he didn't like that. He wanted that position in that corner, and now he's going to have to wait for the first corner. He's got the inside line. He's going to try and go for the late break. Ladies and gentlemen, Stu BS pulling a move on the MINI, and Mini's got to watch out, because Souness is there in his periphery, and BTC Stubbs up there in 7th place, Mika in 6th, Method in 5th, still fighting Eric of Canada, and Brian Moncani with a penalty there, and that is great news for Eric of Canada, and he's hoping just to get ahead of the Bry, and Brian give Method a bit of hassle to give Eric a little break. He's had to do a lot of work in this race, ladies and gentlemen. It's a more than one man can take. Matty Alder chases down Double Aaron, but Double Aaron, this one looks pretty straightforward to him. He's going to be racing all the way to lap 13, putting those hard tyres on, and he should come out ahead of everyone and just swoosh to the checkered flag. Matty Alder, though, is going to try and make his life more difficult. Eric of Canada there in 3rd, with Method now ahead of the Monk, after the Monk paying that penalty. Unbelievable stuff for the drivers. Last race, it was all about the MINI, and Eric of Canada is the big news here so far in this race. Can he convert this amazing work that he's put in so far into an absolutely heroic result here today, ladies and gentlemen? Eric of Canada lining himself up for a podium, and I believe in him, ladies and gents. I believe in the Canadian. They're not all like Stroll, believe me. He's had words with me about mentioning Stroll and him, and so yes, from the Canadians' mouth, they're not all. Remember, they had a Villeneuve twice? No, once. I don't know if the first Villeneuve might have been French, but they definitely had a second Villeneuve that was Canadian. So it's not all. Method having a little look, getting a bit punchy up the inside of Eric. Now Eric went wide there. Is he going to get a penalty? Oh, what a shame! What a shame for the Canadian. I don't know if that was because of the contact that sent him out there, but now Method coming through with the Brian of Moncani, and Eric of Canada not paying the penalty yet. It hasn't picked it up. So Double Aaron still leads from Matty Alder, but Matty Alder is the fastest man on track as Method now gets the move done on Eric of Canada, who's got the penalty, and he's got to take that all the way around to the next lap, with Brian Moncani all up and in his rear derriere. Mika in 6th. We suspect he's made the pit stop already, starting on the hard tyre, and he's leading the group that all started on hard tyres, and that is who Double Aaron is aiming to try and get out ahead. Now Mika's doing 35.9s, the Double Aaron 35.6s, so he is a little faster than Mika, and the question is, how are those mediums going to look come the end of the race? There's 3 more laps for the medium runners now before they'll all come flying in, and that's the top 5 there, we believe. Double Aaron, Matty, Method, Eric and Brian Moncani. We believe none of them have made their pit stops so far. And Eric of Canada with that half a second penalty still, but giving Method a lot to think about. Now Matty Alder was absolutely doing some stellar laps, but he hasn't closed in on the Double Aaron as of yet so far. Mika, who we're hoping started on the hards and has made his pit stop ahead of Stu BS, but Stu BS now is slinging Genesis and closing in. He's starting to slap, ladies and gentlemen. He's cooking. A 35.5 last time around for Stu BS, with Mika doing a 36.2, and Stu BS really is starting to close that gap down. Souness 36.9 from the Souness last time around, and they have dropped MINI 39.0. It must have been a heavy penalty day. GS Smith then, he was the last to pit, and I did say he was going to drop out behind those guys because he'd spent so long on the hard tyre, and you know, I don't like to say I was right, but he has dropped quite far behind, but ahead of the Panda, who is not, he got a good lap that time last time around. So the Panda has the power It's just not happening for him at this race. It's getting darker out there, ladies and gentlemen, as Double Aaron leads the way around, and the track will be cooling down, which means the grip will be dissipating. It'll be dropping away from him, but the tyre wear should be better. So Method then in third place now. What happened? Eric of Canada dropped back? Yes, I think it was. Eric of Canada now dropping behind the Monk. Yes, he had a half a second penalty, didn't he? So the Monk's gone ahead, and the American in a strong position. But it's all about where they come out against Mika. Mika is the acid test here as the Stu BS closes in ever tighter from Stu BS. We are on lap 11 of 15. It is nearly over, ladies and gentlemen. 4 more laps remaining. 2 laps from the end. The medium runners, the top 5, will all swan into the pits as we sit on board with Stu BS, and this is who they're racing. These are the guys who've already pitted, and they're on their way around, and the two worlds will collide, ladies and gentlemen. Where will that top 5 fit in? And as Stu BS goes for a late break on Mika, and it's beautiful at the moment, and Stu BS pulling that off as he has done many times so far this round, and Stu BS absolutely slinging his Haribo Genesis around. And Mika then, nothing he can do about that, but he can try and come back, and he's not using the slipstream. He's just trying to go for a straight drag race and a late break against the Stubbs. And Mika then, I think he should have got behind him for the toe. Doesn't fancy the toe, and he might have been able to do something more with that. Souness then closing in. He's one to watch as well, with MINI in 9th. Then we've got the Smith in 10th place. He's waiting for those pit stops, but again, I think he stayed on the hard tyre just a little too long, as Panda there in 11th. Trying to find a bit of consistency. Then we've got Double Aaron. So these guys are going to be pitting on the end of lap 13. The Monk has got a penalty, and that's music to the Canadians' ears. Eric of Canada will be wanting to swoosh on through on Moncani there to get that 4th place. And like I said, in this championship, ladies and gents, I think every single point is going to count. I don't think we're going to see a full league promotion into League 3. League 3 is pretty solid. I used to race in it, and it has residents. Guys stick with that league, so yeah, I don't think these will all find an easy ticket to League 3 as they did to League 4. I think this one's going to have to be hard fought for, ladies and gentlemen. And Stubbs at the moment then trying his best before these guys all make their pit stops. Brian Moncani has paid the penalty, and Eric of Canada still behind him. Method then. Oh, Method's picked up a penalty as well. It is a penalty fest out there today. Deep penalty forest, we're going to call this one, ladies and gents, as Double Aaron just gets on with the business of getting on, trying to guess his race, wondering where he's going to come out against the Stu BS and Mika and Souness. That is who he's racing at the moment. Matty Alder a little further back, but absolutely planting the lap times. He's going to be in the thick of it as well when he comes out on his pits. But again, the guys are going to be on used mediums. These guys are going to be on fresh hards. It's going to be pretty level between the two of them. Method just about to pay his penalty. Is the Monk close enough? He seems too far back. This is just going to help him get closer is all, but not help with the overtake. So the Method comes up to the penalty line, and the Monk is giving Eric of Canada a tow. Eric of Canada swinging out for a look as the Method pays his penalty, pulls back onto the line, and the Monk might lose a position rather than gain a position. Whoa, and they're coming in fast as Method makes his way through the corner, and it's side by side, but the Monk looks like he's got the mission done. And Eric of Canada just a wee annoyance. And there we go, end of lap 13, and here they come. Double Aaron, Matty, Method, Brian and Eric of Canada. Is Mika going to be the leader? Mika's back ahead of the Stubbs. The Stubbs is having a nightmare with the penalties. That's all I can guess that was, with the Souness closing in and Souness getting faster and faster as the race continues on. Double Aaron then has been released. He's been released. Mika's out. Double Aaron, he does. He still stays in the lead, ladies, and Matty might still stay ahead. No, Mika's through. Mika and Stubbs are through, and the Alder out just ahead of Souness, and you couldn't be out ahead of a worse driver. Their medium tyres still pretty fresh, and now the Alder is under a lot of pressure from Souness. Stubbs and Mika second and third. Fantastic stuff. And the Double Aaron, can he keep his hard tyres at a swift pace to stay away from the medium runners who have got lovely bedded in warmed up tyres? Mika under pressure from the Stubbs, and these two might slow each other down to give Double Aaron the win, and then it'll be a double win for the Aaron today. And Mika and Stubbs cannot stand for that. Souness in fourth, Matty Alder in fifth, Mini in sixth, Method in seventh, and the Monk in eighth. It's crazy, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely crazy, with Eric of Canada in ninth, the Myth in 10th on his mediums, but again he went on the hards too long, and 11th with the Panda. Another penalty, another day. Double Aaron then leads. Stubbs goes up ahead of Mika. Stubbs makes the move again, as he has done many times. And Mika coming back. Yeah, no. My God, it sounded like an 80s song then. Mika coming back. And Mika, the fuels are all low, but it's all right. We're coming close to the end of the race. And Double Aaron just might do this, ladies and gentlemen. He's got a good length. I've always heard that about Double Aaron. His length is good, and he's got a great length at the moment ahead of the Stubbs. And Mika and Stubbs still fighting over that second place, and Mika just slightly ahead, but the Stubbs is on the inside, and the Stubbs claims the corner as Mika gives it his all, ladies and gentlemen, his absolute all, as Souness there gets to watch all the action. And Matty Alder feels again for the second race he deserves a better result than the race he's had. Mini in sixth place with Method in seventh, the Monk in 8th, Eric of Canada in 9th, the Myth, the Legend in 10th with a penalty, and Panda without a penalty. Double Aaron's picked up a penalty, but he's so far ahead it really doesn't matter. And Stu BS is in second, but Mika doesn't want that. Mika wants the second place. The German will not give up. He will not yield. And now he's losing time to the Souness. The Souness might steal the podium away from him on the final lap. My good golly gosh, there's a long straight here. Mika really needs the toe of Stubbs to stay out of Souness's way, but I think the deal's already done. I think Souness had such a good drive out of that other corner that he's got the move already done on, and he's already claimed the racing line away from Mika. Mika went defensive before they even got there, and now Mika has got to really struggle against the Souness. Souness getting a better drive out. He's going to come back at Mika. Double Aaron then coming down the hill. Mika at the moment still ahead of the Souness, but it's going to be tight coming the line, and Double Aaron goes for a double win. Just like his name, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron takes the win. Stubbs in second with a hard-fought battle with Mika, gets the podium against Souness. Matty Alder gets fifth with Mini in sixth. Brian Moncani comes home in seventh ahead of Eric of Canada in eighth. Method really lost out, unfortunately. He run out of fuel. No, in ninth, but Method seeming to lose out there somewhere along the way, and GS Myth comes home in 10th place. And my word, ladies and gentlemen, what a race we had with Panda. He was a lot closer this race than he was in the first race, so Panda closing in on the leaders. Watch out, leaders. Oh, there's been loads of chat I missed. As soon as we get the Panda to the line, we will check it out. Unbelievable stuff. Great racing by all of these guys in League 4 of the URL. Super stuff. Don't forget, if you want to be involved, ladies and gentlemen, you just got to look up on Facebook, Ultimate Racing League, and again, the GRSC is the jewel in the crown. 6 leagues on a Sunday, and you can see League 4 is the 5th league down, and the quality of the racing is of top notch. It really is. So in the chat, man, saying you're going to have watching me and Cy battle in this week's URL Academy. I look forward to that, dude. And Mantis also saying Matty Elder is quick. He has been practicing with us League 5 guys. Brilliant stuff. And Mantis saying good racing this. It was fantastic stuff. Thank you for joining me, Mantis. That's brilliant. Sorry I didn't read your comments out during the race. There was so much action. I just couldn't pull away. But thank you for joining me. Thank you for having a chat. It's great. It's quite late at night as well. Go and get some rest, man. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. That was round 1 of the GRSC Season 3 League 4 and really League 5.2. But what an absolute banger. Fantastic racing to all the guys out there. Well done to Double A Ron on the double win. We might just start calling him Double Win Ron. Double Win Ron. Oh, Mantis, you're still there, man. I thought you'd probably gone and had a nap. Mantis saying, as always, mate, take care, and I look forward to the next one. Yes, the next one, OTH, and then it's you guys. I've got fat thumbs. I guess I just thought you didn't like E's or something. The W was better than the E. Anyway, thank you very much. That's everything. Yeah. Oh, I've got a list of streams. OTH Sunday Manufacturers Cup is the next on my list. Then it'll be the Tyre Shredders, the Academy, which is soon to become the URL Academy. Then I've got more URL action with their Wednesday night F-Type series. And then we've got the GTMC by the VRC. And man alive, it's busy. It's busy times here at Theme India's Racing Channel, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I love my racing. I love my sim racing and my real racing. Hulkenberg! Tiru, peace and love. Peace and love.